Hi, my name is Reuben Maher, and I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at ActioNet, and I'm pleased to have with me my boss and founder and CEO of ActioNet, Ms. Ashley Chen.
Hello, everybody.
All right, good stuff. We're excited to be here with you today, and we've got a ton of content to cover, some really cool things we want to talk about. And Ashley, let's go ahead and dive on it.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So the first question, let's talk about, give me a little bit of background about ActioNet and how you started it, and maybe tell people a little bit about yourself.
Great. Thank you, Reuben. On Thanksgiving Eve, 1997, I was inspired by a Japanese philosopher who stated, action without vision is a nightmare, and vision without action is only a daydream. So I took action, jumped out of bed, paid my $35 for ActioNet.com domain name, and ActioNet was born on January 7, 1998. We grew from one person in 1998 to over 800 ActioNetters in over 40 states. This is a journey of turning vision into action.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, so along that journey, you've experienced some ups and some downs. You've had some headwinds, you've had some tailwinds. But tell us a little about some of the unique challenges and opportunities that you faced, and as a founder-owned company.
Changing the mindsets. ActioNet had transformed from an 8A woman-owned small business to a full and open competition company. And throughout this journey, the market changes, the technology changes. We must adapt to changes and continually improve the way we're doing business. And changing mindset is difficult.
It is very difficult, and with that has come some opportunities as well in the marketplace, which you guys have been able to capitalize on. You've had tremendous growth over the years. With that, I'm sure you're very proud of some of those accomplishments. Give us some idea of some of those things that you're super proud of. I love that smile. It's like, yes.
ActioNet corporate culture. Corporate culture is like a soul to a human body. You can buy contract vehicles, you can buy capabilities, but you cannot buy corporate culture. Corporate culture is something that takes time, effort, and sweat to build and continually improve. I always say, contract vehicle, $1 million. Capabilities, $10 million. ActioNet corporate culture, priceless.
It's interesting you said that. It really goes along with what the famed business guru Peter Drucker said when he said that culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Yes.
And without that corporate culture, the other stuff, the other levers you can pull to make the company successful get really, really challenging.
Absolutely.
And obviously you've obviously pulled a lot of levers throughout the time you've led ActioNet. And the question I have is, what are some of the lessons learned that you can share with folks who they might just be starting their own company, mm-hmm. They might be early in their growth journey, mm-hmm. and they might be looking at other people's paths and say, mm-hmm. Hey, I can learn from that. What are some lessons learned you would share?
Growing business, building capabilities while remaining agile, flexible, and responsive. And this is constant balancing act that requires the infusion of new blood, new ideas, and new energy.
Yeah. That's awesome. And as we bring in some of this new blood, obviously you do that as part of the positioning ActioNet, for 2021, 2022, and these years to come. How do you see ActioNet positioned right now in the market relative to your peers in this space?
Good question, Reuben. So ActioNet has large business capabilities and small business agility. ActioNet's growth is 100% organic. We are 100% self-funded. We are 100% privately held, and we have zero debt. And we are 100% committed to invest back to the company and back to our ActioNetters. Our ActioNet Innovation Center is a strategic catalyst to bring impactful and tangible digital transformation to our customers. So Reuben, as a Chief Innovation Officer, can you share with us how our AIC help our customers solving their mission challenges?
Absolutely. So this is a cool question because part of what attracted me to ActioNet was not only some of your passion and vision for the company, but as well some of what we want to do with this AIC, this ActioNet Innovation Center. And it's more than just, when you think of an innovation center, a lot of times you think of a physical presence. Well, we're building that. We've got over $1 million invested in a space that we've got on our 6th floor. We're building out this state-of-the-art, socially distanced, COVID-friendly, post-COVID kind of world, where we can take and bring teams in and let them truly not just imagine the art of the possible, but bring it to life. Provide a space where they can come together and iterate rapidly, figure out what doesn't work, learn from it, and then figure out what does work and bring these solutions to market. So we do have that physical space. But in addition, we're also doing a lot in the area of taking emerging technologies and delivering this value, delivering these solutions at really this intersection of mission and technology. And we're doing that in a number of ways. So I'll give you a few quick highlights. Things like in cybersecurity and things like analytics and cloud. I'll pick on what we've done for the Department of Energy. And for the Department of Energy, they have this national infrastructure that is really, really critical from a security perspective. And so they obviously want to make sure it's not only secure and safe, but that they are monitoring this at all times. So we built out for them, this was a $1 billion contract. We built out for them this security operations center that was across the entire enterprise, and they wanted to take all this data in and analyze it and evaluate potential threats. So what we did was we built this AWS cloud-based big data platform, which took all this data in and helped them analyze this information and really increase our nation's national security for really, really vital, critical infrastructure. So other things. One of our things that we do just a really, really high level of capability is we leverage our partnerships. I mentioned AWS earlier, but we also have some other partnerships in the managed and shared services space. So for instance, some of the stuff we're doing with, I'll pick on Salesforce. So with Salesforce, we've done some work for CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And we had around 300 people on a contract, built the first Salesforce app that got ATO'd in their environment. It was things like 35 different communities we built for them, increased application efficiency by over 60%, and in the process saved them over $6 million that they could quantify. This is really, really cool, and we use this Agile Scrum methodology the entire way to deliver rapidly. In addition, on the, when we look at some of the stuff we're doing from a ServiceNow perspective, so ServiceNow, again, one of our most critical partners. ServiceNow, we're doing some really cool things with them. Matter of fact, ServiceNow is really this foundation for our FedRAMP compliant, cloud-based ActioNet desk capability that we have. And we're doing this all over federal government, supporting hundreds of thousands of users. And a couple that I'll point out, we talked about some of the work at the Department of Energy earlier. That was on the cyber and the analytics side and the cloud-based environment, but we're also doing a lot from a shared services perspective. With ServiceNow, we support over 25,000 users across 17 different labs, 54 offices. With AR&G, the Army National Guard. We're doing some stuff with them. We're supporting over 334,000 users. And you look at, you come back to NOAA, when we talk about NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. This is one of our keystone clients. We're doing some incredible work for them. We currently support over 50,000 end users, both at NOAA and Department of Commerce, and with our ActioNet Desk solution. And with this, we've reduced Tier 1 ticket escalations by over 45%. And we've, listen, I think we're super awesome. We think our teams are incredible. I'd say even as important, if not more important in the client space, is the recognition and the accolades they give us. And at NOAA, they've been profuse in this, and we repeatedly won awards, a couple of which are the Office of the CIO's quarterly peer-reviewed award, as well as the overarching Outstanding Technical Innovation and Customer Experience Award. So we've got some incredible solutions that we're actively driving mission change with impact, and so we're super excited about that.
Sounds great.
It is. It's exciting to be part of. You know, our teams,
Absolutely.
we give them all the credit. They're doing unbelievable, amazing work.
Sounds great.
So tell us a little bit. We talked a little about the AIC and a little bit about the company and your journey. Let's get back and talk about some of your leadership style. How would you characterize that?
Lead by example. Get your hands dirty. And listen to others. Be totally accountable and responsible for your actions. For example, we just completed our employee satisfaction survey. So after analyze the data, we are taking action and make improvements.
Yep. And it's exciting to see that, because I think a lot of times at companies, they feel like, you know, a survey goes out, employees respond to it, and they think, oh, that just disappeared to some kind of black hole. But as part of the executive team, it's been neat to see the meetings we're having right now, and we've actually got one in a couple days here, where we're actually meeting and talking about, all right, we heard this, what are the tangible steps we need to take to make a difference on it?
Yes, and we also made a video to let ActioNeters know we hear you and we are taking actions.
That's right. We've got some exciting things we're rolling out soon on the training front across the organization, and some really cool things. So more to come. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone, as they go through that journey, they have people they look up to, people who inspire them.
Yes.
Tell us a little about some of your mentors, people who've inspired you to be where you're at and to do what you've done.
Okay. Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of modern Singapore. He transformed Singapore from a third world country into a first world country within one single generation. He created a miracle. So speaking of fathers, my own father was also an entrepreneur as well. And he always told me, where there is a will, there is a way. And this is the way.
Sounds like a line from The Mandalorian. This is the way. Awesome. Well, so you mentioned as well, we talked a little about employees, you know, and how they're really the lifeblood of the company.
Yes.
You have this really cool distinction of having been a Washington Post top workplace for not one, not two, 7 years in a row. That's really quite an accomplishment. So give us an idea of, you know, what are some of the pillars to the corporate culture and that really keep enabling ActioNet to win this. This is an employee. I mean, people don't realize this isn't like we nominate ourselves. This is an employee-voted award. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Reuben. Instill integrity in everything we do. Treat people with respect. Embrace diversity and learn from each other. Commit to customers and each other's success. Sustain service delivery excellence.
That's awesome. That's exciting to hear. And that service delivery excellence in any normal time is always a challenge. How do you deliver the best levels, highest levels of expectation and quality and on time within budget? But during 2020, what a weird year this has been.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's been so many different things. You have an election this year, we've got a global pandemic. Let's talk a little about COVID. So what has been the impact of COVID on ActioNet?
So we are in the people business. So not able to directly interact with each other is a challenge.
Yeah. How have you been able to maintain touch with some of the employees and some of our clients in this kind of environment?
So we leverage technologies such as Teams, Zoom, Google to keep everybody connected through Good Morning ActioNet. Action News, virtual innovation workshop, town halls, and many, many team building activities. So Reuben, speaking of virtual innovation workshop, can you give us some examples?
Absolutely. So, in any normal non-COVID type environment, you're regularly meeting with your client to solve, some challenges that they have, and focus on some really unique problem sets that come up in their environment. And what we've done is we've designed this concept of an innovation workshop, these innovation challenges that we'll meet with our client and have a very focused group come together and work out what is the problem that we're trying to solve, define that very clearly, articulate what the outcome should look like, what does success look like, and then put a roadmap in place for it. Might be a half day, might be a day long, multi-day type environment for us to get together and rapidly iterate and come out with actionable, tangible action items that we can then attack and hopefully bring a successful conclusion to this problem. And so we've got obviously an in-person version of this, and recently because of COVID, we've had to go virtual. So we're seeing some really, really cool results from this. So for instance, recently we had a client. They came to us, and their challenge is across their, nationally across the enterprise, they have thousands and thousands of assets, physical assets that they have to maintain an inventory for. And so you might think, well, how difficult is that? Well, it's actually really challenging when it's nationally dispersed. You have some people who check in if they work remote, or some people are on site. So how do you make sure all of these assets are accounted for? Not just once a year, but they have to do it 4 times a year because they do this quarterly. So as a result, they have certain SLAs they have to hit. So for them, this was a big challenge. Well, COVID made this challenge even more paramount to making sure that they fulfilled their mission requirements. So what they did is they asked us to come in, and we brought this innovation workshop together. We did a bunch of legwork leading up to it to define what success looked like. We came together that day, and we just walked them through some really creative, out-of-the-box kind of ideas to help them ideate in a different way, look at the problem from a little bit different lens. And as a result of that, we came out with 3 short-term, 3 long-term action items, very, very concrete, very tangible and discrete. And we walked out of that, and the client was so excited about this that they've already accomplished the short-term goals and are working on the long-term goals. And he recently wrote us to thank us. And one of his statements was, I think that the quarterly scanning innovation session was a valuable exercise. It created both short and long-term actions that we can easily implement. I would be interested in other innovation sessions across this organization. So it's really cool feedback from a client.
Can we take that video?
That's right. That'll be right after this. That's awesome. So we talked a little bit about COVID and all of that, but let's talk about how do we see the market evolving over the next, say, 6 to 12 months. Where do we see the market evolving, and kind of what's our response to that?
Okay. So over the last 9 months, we have seen many opportunities slip to the right due to uncertainty, such as global pandemic, changing priorities, and an interesting election year, combined with everything else. So over the next 12 months, the floodgate is going to open up, and you are going to see many opportunities stuck in the pipeline begin to drop.
So it's interesting you say that. So as we look at how the market is kind of evolving, we'll talk about the elections in just a minute, but how do you think that ActioNet is positioned in those next 6 to 12 months, even beyond?
Got it. So ActioNet have built robust business opportunity pipeline, and we have also made significant investment, bring critical resources to position and capture these opportunities. And our ActioNet Innovation Center is a strategic catalyst for growth.
as you've talked about how ActioNet's positioned for the future,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in any normal year, these would be, we talked about, you know, how this year's a little bit different.
Yes.
Well, one of the other, you know, differences in this year is obviously with the elections.
Mm-hmm.
And with any change in administration, it's
Yes.
obviously fraught with both
Yes.
opportunities as well as distinct challenges.
Yes.
What are some of the, give us an idea of some of the things that you've done to position ActioNet for these next 4 years, and how does that outlook look for us?
Great. So ActioNet has been in business for over 22 years.
Mm.
Adapting to changes is one of our greatest strengths. We always focus on supporting our customers and their missions, regardless of changes in administrations. In every crisis, there is risk and there is opportunity. We always turning our risks into opportunities for improvement.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we look at some of these opportunities for to take advantage of this market, you know, people will be looking to learn from others and to see what they can do. For those again watching
Mm-hmm.
this, how would you what's kind of advice would you give as far as characteristics of companies that are going to
Mm-hmm.
succeed in the long term,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you continue to be resilient? How do you continue
Mm-hmm.
to respond to the COVIDs that are thrown at you, or the
Yes.
changes of administration that are inevitably going to happen?
Yes.
What's some of the advice you would offer for some of these companies?
Good question, Reuben. The ability to adapt changes, stay focused, work hard, play hard, and have fun.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I've got one more question for you,
Okay.
and that's, what's next?
What is next? So in the last 22 years, we have built a strong foundation for ActioNet. Moving forward, we will continue to adapt to changes, focus on growth, building capabilities, investing back to the companies and to our ActioNetters, technical innovation, and having fun. The journey of turning vision into action continues, and the best is yet to come.
I love it. The best is yet to come. So that's awesome. So, speaking, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, on behalf of Ashley and myself and all of ActioNet, we thank Baird for having us.
Thank you.
And have a great day for the rest of the conference.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.